Then move on to the finals, vying for that $5,000 prize. We're going to see what happens. We're into the picks and bans. Callista, the first thing taken away by Fang Gaming yet again.
And so much is on the line for both of these teams. While the prize money is pretty important, let's be honest. The difference between $500 and $5,000, as we said, pretty massive. That 10 times multiplier. It's more important right now to establish themselves in the challenger lineup, to get experience in these best of three situations, to prove that they are a superior team. And while both these teams have the coordination to do so, only one of these guys can come out on top. And while Fang Gaming, without a doubt, did dominate, Cloud9 won a game with about a 20K gold lead. So both of these guys absolutely lethal in what they do. And already some adaptations in the pick and ban. We saw Golden Glue consistently getting banned off of that Cassiopeia. The Sejuani taken away from 14A. And after seeing him land just about every single one of these glacial prisons, that's absolutely no surprise.
Yeah, he has just been really loving that Sejuani so far throughout this best of three set. So, like you said, not surprising at all to see that one taken out. And yet again, I want to actually see this Annie just because it's been banned out all three games. Please, just let Sheep take it. I want to see it in action after these nerfs. Unfortunately, not going to happen. Maybe in the next best of three when we see Legendary versus Misfits. But for now, not going to happen. And I'm not going to have that LeBlanc coming through for Golden Glue either. But here it is yet again.
There
Could
it is
be the
again.
repeat. It's the Thresh first pick here. Going to go over to Baby. We saw how this turned out in the first match. It's really what led to Fang Gaming being able to get that first blood and just scale Latman through the roof. Maybe looking to do just that again over in Game 3.
We'll have to see what the rest of their picks look like. They were incredibly dominant in that game one. Really suffered with a very similar lineup in game two. We talked about how much of a difference this Thresh pick could make for Baby down there in the bottom lane. They secured it first pick yet again on blue side. We questioned it. Game one worked out beautifully for them. I'm not going to question it this time. Baby absolutely lethal on that Thresh, landing the hooks when it counts. The difference, of course, this time around, looks like Lod may pick up the Sivir. And with the Sivir and the Maokai now secured, Cloud9's on the way to building the same exact team comp that won them the last game, and there's now a lot of pressure here onto 14A to sort of adapt in the jungle, but Rek'Sai is available, and he's proven himself on that champion more than once.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and that may very well be where he wants to go with this pickup. There are there are still other powerful junglers on the board. Gragas is, of course, available as well, so we could see that one come in. But we'll have to see. Likely going to grab that one up with this second round of picks. But, with Cloud9 Tempest, they have to be wary of if they're going to subject themselves to the same curse that Fang Gaming seemingly went through. They locked relatively the same team going into the second game, and they didn't end up coming out on top. So maybe the same could be said for Cloud9 Tempest. We will see, however, Golden Glue really sticking true to this Azir, trying to play it to its fullest extent. That second game, not able to find a foothold whatsoever. But going to go ahead back in with this one and try to have a game a bit, one that's a bit more similar to the first in this best of three series. But of course, the new coming in for 14A. So likely going to be seeing an AD carry that can benefit off of that Blood Boil as well, because that's already really well set up for the Azir.
Definitely going to offer even more late game scaling with that Blood Boil on the Nunu, as well as some pretty solid team fight control with that absolute zero. Now, the big question here is, once again, we have a team with some weaknesses being built slowly but surely by Fang Gaming. Their strengths are insane. Late game, incredibly strong. Nunu going to mitigate some of those early game weaknesses with that oppressive jungle style that he has. But Cloud9, on the opposite side, now just free to continue building that exact same comp. The only difference is going to be the Gragas here. And Fang Gaming fell behind in the early game, let's be honest. And if they pick another comp that suffers early game, they're going to have a really hard time coming back or staying even. If they can stay even, this is the story of the Azir pick, they will dominate in mid to late game team fights. They will find a way back in. If they can get ahead, we're just going to see game one over again. We're going to see this team absolutely crush. But Cloud9 on the opposite side have set themselves up for success with the picks that they have so far. On the hunt from Sivir, absolutely love this choice for Lod. Takes a lot of pressure off of him as a carry, because now he gets to do damage like a carry does, but also offer so much utility. Once again, though, nearly identical picks. Nunu being changed up. Gnar now in the top lane. We saw Brandon for the win struggle with it in the last game. We'll have to see if he can execute here. A lot of pressure onto Frank Fang Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it is still just pressure across both these teams, of course, though, not just on Frank Fang Gaming. Cloud9 Tempest, as we discussed in that first game, having a pretty uncharacteristic performance, bring themselves back into it in the second game, so they want to maintain that consistency. Whereas Frank Fang Gaming, they're now fighting an uphill battle where they were so far ahead and had such a great performance. Now they're fighting off the back foot and have to sort of reprove themselves against this lineup. And we can see the last pick coming in yet again, and unsurprisingly for Yasui, is going to be the Cassidy. And he's had such great success against this, especially against Golden Glue in the early stages of the lane. He was able to just keep him down and stop him from farming, and was just absolutely bullying him out. So that is such a strong pickup. And like you said, near the same exact team comp coming in for Cloud9 Tempest. You have to be worried for Frank Fang Gaming at this point.
Definitely. Well, we've seen Golden Glue in every lane matchup with this Azir against Yasui fall behind by 20 or 30 CS. And that's a pretty massive difference. That's about the equivalent of 2 kills just in farm differential alone. So more than anything, what this means, if we assume Golden Glue plays the same level, if he doesn't just go Super Saiyan here in this final match, 14A needs to pay attention to this mid lane, needs to put some pressure on Yasui in the early to mid game and keep Golden Glue even. Similar in the bot lane, this is game one all over again. The difference, now we have that Nautilus instead of that Alistar, so they're going to be able to trade a lot more freely and what I think a lot more even bot lane overall. So while this mid lane is going to be intense, we've seen this one before. The top lane, seen this one as well. The bottom lane, though, this is new. This is different for both of these teams. And we've seen the team with the bottom lane that gets ahead, the team that has the support that's free to roam, always comes out on top between these two guys. So we're going to have to see who can do it here.
Yeah, now both of these teams backed up into the corner in this last game of this best of three. We're going to see who's going to come out on top. Everyone going to be pulling out all the stops that they possibly can to try to net themselves that victory, move on to the finals. So we're going to go to a quick little break, ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for them to load onto the Rift. When we come back, though, it is the final game between Frank Fang Gaming and Cloud9 Tempest. My name is Achilles. With me is Sifa. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alpha Draft Challenger League. I'm Achilles. With me is Sifa, and we're on to the Rift with a very slight pause that's going to get taken away in just a second now. But we are on to the Rift in our last game in this best of three between Fang Gaming, Cloud9 Tempest, who are tied in a 1-1 on the blue side. Yet again, it's Fang Gaming with Brandon for the win in the top lane on that Gnar. 14A in the jungle with Nunu, Golden Glue, yet again keeping it consistent in the mid lane with Azir. And then Latman and Baby, of course, rounding out the bot lane with a repeat performance on Jinx and Thresh.
And of course, on the opposite side for Cloud9 Tempest, it's going to be solo in that top lane, on that Maokai, in the jungle, hard on that Gragas pick. Yasui once again getting his hands on that Kassadin. See how he performs. Of course, in the bot lane, Lot and Sheep, Nautilus and Sivir in their hands already. Early warding coming out, and I'm wondering if we're going to see standard lanes here. It looks like we might, although these guys already eager for blood. It's only level 1. Calm down.
Like, I want that money. So they just start throwing everything that they have at each other.
I mean, if there's anything we've seen in these games, it's the team that gets ahead early on tends to take the game. They always, both these teams, pretty proficient in snowballing leads. Lod, though, has to be careful. Looks like they might have done here.
Yeah, gonna get a couple auto attacks in. Has Baby chosen what ability he wants? Yeah, he has. He actually took Flay. Does get in range of it. They lay down a good amount of damage, so that will send Lod recalling back, so maybe just a little bit late to lane here. That could be some nice little early pressure and another pause coming through, it would seem.
So while this is paused, let's take a look at the warding here. It looks like we're going to have some player connectivity issues. Already we have a lot of wards focused on early jungle pathing. Now on the side of Fang Gaming, what this is going to do, this will allow this Nunu to pretty much have control over the jungle. He knows exactly where Gragas is going to start. He knows where he can be if he wants to fight the Gragas or if he wants to avoid the Gragas and just kind of clear out the jungle on his own. Either way, knowing the Gragas isn't there means very clearly that he's starting at the blue. Latman and Baby, though, with his advantage, maybe pushing in for something a little bit more.
Yeah, they're going to try to harass out in this Cromp start, get that ward over the wall. Sheep going to try to body block here in case a zap comes out. Looks like they will peel off there. Not going to contest this one too heavily. Just getting some vision of Heart early on in the jungle. And, you know, like you said, that's going to really help now. 14A get that much more control over the jungle.
And these are a lot of small advantages going over to Fang Gaming overall. Latman and Baby able to pull the wave so the creeps are focused on a single creep, slowly pushing the wave in their favor. You see top laners do this a lot. Rarely does it happen in bot lane, but because they got that early harass off, because they bullied Lot out early on, they are able to get a little bit of lane control. So it's actually not going to end up pushing. So they didn't get anything off of that one, so maybe a little bit of a misplay there, not to get too much. So the lane will remain about even, although a small experience advantage in the favor of Latman and Baby for sure.
Absolutely. And you see Baby just playing so far forward in this lane right now, using the brush to just be that invisible threat and try to zone out Lot and Sheep as much as humanly possible. See Latman just doing what he can to just pick up that CS. And they just want to prevent this as much as possible. If Latman can get that early advantage, and again, we've seen him get, I believe, first blood in the first 2 games. The second time around didn't quite pay off for him, but if things can happen like the first one, and it looks like they're trying to make that one happen, already getting the flash out here from Lod the Chompers. Not even needed Lod knowing if he walked into those, he was certainly going to be dead. So they get his flash, and they trade that just for the ignite over from Baby. So very fantastic start for the bot side of Fang Gaming.
And already look how far ahead they are. Sivir can't even approach the creep wave.
Yeah.
16-5 in the farm differential. Latman and Baby so confident. Baby landing that clutch hook. And Sivir, without the flash, she's going to get the spell shield, which will offer her a certain degree of safety. But without flash, you have to be careful. A single Nunu snowball, if she's caught too far out, could end her life in an instant. We'll have to see how Lot adapts to this. But in the mid lane as well, this looks like a different Fang Gaming to me. Never have I seen Golden Glue so confident in the early game. He has figured out this matchup after dropping games to it. He knows how to play more confidently. And I said, I expected him to fall behind. I expected 14A to put down a lot of pressure here. And it looks like instead of that, Golden Glue might just go Super Saiyan. As I mentioned before, we're going to have to see, though. And it looks like an early dragon from Nunu here.
Yeah, and that's a great way to, really start the takeoff here for Fang Gaming. So, goal even across the board, of course. The CS is almost dead even on all fronts. The top and bot lane kind of equalizing themselves between those very slight disparities that have come out from either side. But with that dragon, this is going to help Latman, who is, of course, pretty much the hardest scaling champion on the side of Fang Gaming. That 6% going to net him a lot on his first back if he's able to get that BF sword. So in a very nice spot so far, it would seem, for Fang Gaming. And like he said, Golden Glue doing such a good job. By this point, I think we saw him just absolutely getting devastated by Yasui's kit and losing out on CS. He's down very slightly right now, but he's trading back so well against this Kassadin that was otherwise having an onslaught in the last game.
But now, we were talking about the jungle pressure. It looks like Hard has shown up in the bot lane. We'll have to see if he can get the gank off here, playing incredibly patiently. Did duck that ward to get into the lane. Jinx and Thresh appear content to back off here. Gragas going to have to back as well. So, like I said, jungle pressure, very important here. Laning, already going pretty well for Fang Gaming. They've suffered a lot in the past, but they're doing well. The top lane, still pretty heavily in the favor of Solo as he starts to build up that CS advantage. But nothing too massive yet. Of course, we're only 5 minutes in. We'll have to see if Fang Gaming can keep it together as Golden Glue starting to fall behind as well. So they do have the dragon, though. So despite the CS difference, definitely an advantage for Fang Gaming. And we saw them put, that between a rock and a hard place kind of situation where it's Baron or Dragon, and if you guess wrong, you lose the game. Well, when you have a lead on Dragons, you're not going to put yourself in that situation, and it's a good place for them to be. So already a slight improvement to Fang's Gaming overall, and it's still going to come down to who can find the first big advantage.
Yeah, and that was also a huge pickup for them. Just in that Hard sat in the bush waiting for so long to try to get that gank in the bot side. He was not able to find any action. He wasted so much time just hovering around there. You can see 14A now has gone back. He's got that Ranger's Trailblazer as well as a Sightstone. With Nunu's just baseline invasive play to begin with, he's going to have wards all over the jungle of Cloud9 Tempest. They're going to be able to keep tabs on Hard at pretty much all points in this game.
Definitely going to be very important for them in 14A. Yeah, that Sightstone, absolutely crucial to their strategy overall. Fang Gaming's vision control has been pretty hit or miss in these series, but with the Sightstone this early, we can expect a lot of good plays. Brandon for the win could be in trouble, though.
He's looking for that first engage, gets the body slam, and look at that huge chunk of damage. Brandon for the win has to flash out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Almost has the Mega Gnar Hard out of mana, not able to roll out the barrel. Brandon will get out with his life, but narrowly so. Likely going to go ahead, go back and pick up some wards of his own. Doesn't want that one to happen again. We saw him get absolutely camped by, sheep in the last game. This time looks like Hard looking to pay those early visits. He doesn't want that one to happen again. He's going to have to get some vision coverage. And that Hex Drinker is really going to help him sustain through those ganks as well.
And the Hex Drinker, an excellent early choice. Most of the time we see Gnar go for a single damage item early on. A lot of that has changed since the since the changes to Black Cleaver. He might pick up that later on as well. But this early Hex Drinker, gonna let him trade pretty aggressively with Solo. And already you can see the difference in their CS. Maokai gonna be able to even this one out, but they're even this time around instead of Maokai slowly and steadily building the lead. On the other hand, we talked about the mid lane. We talked about Golden Glue doing so well, and it looks like he's dropping the ball a little bit. As Kassadin continues to maintain about a 10 CS lead, it grows and shrinks as the waves get pushed in, but Sui just doing such a good job of farming, and if he can find a major item power spike early on before Golden Glue can, this fight, when they inevitably force it at some point, could turn against Fang Gaming.
Yeah, but at the same time, in the same vein, you have to, if you're Cloud9 Tempest, you have to be worried about Latman at this point. You can see, even a bigger CS lead disparity really coming in almost in this bot lane. Lot has been able to trade back a little bit, but for the most part, Baby and Latman have just been doing such a good job of zoning him off of this creep wave and just keeping Latman ahead. It's a very slight lead at the given moment, about 200 gold in Latman's favor, but even so, that's a Jinx with an early advantage, which can potentially spell for a disaster when you're on the opposing team.
Lot, of course, very close to level 6. We'll have the On the Hunt available, and this could be where things start to turn. Sheep clearly looking for a fight there as he throws out that dredge line, but isn't going to find it. So for these two teams, they both have level 6 now, and there's a lot of pressure on the Baby to keep them off of Latman. Latman, of course, can do a lot of damage, but On the Hunt, as we talked about before, is so much mobility as Yasui still looking confident in this mid lane and doing a lot of damage there despite taking a lot back himself.
Yeah, Golden Glue trading back quite nicely. Still has to be careful because he has heal, and Yasui is rocking the Ignite, so he can pretty much negate the effectiveness of that summoner spell from Golden Glue, but doing a good job of trading back. That was Yasui trying to take advantage of the low mana of Golden Glue, but he was able to get those Sand Soldiers over. That triple Sand Soldier, one auto attack from 3 Sand Soldiers does a heck of a lot of damage. Death Sentence in the bot side, not going to connect, but it does draw out that spell shield from Lod, so that one will be done for a little bit. Now Sheep going in, the Depth Charge pop, the Simon goes into the air, the box has dropped, Ignite ticking. Now the Zap coming through, but the flash from Sheep will keep him safe for the time being. A nice trade back and forth. Latman taking a bunch of damage, but that's likely going to be Sheep having to recall out Lod, maybe looking to stick around a little bit, given that Latman is quite low on HP.
And the turret dropping down in the mid lane. We saw Golden Glue completely outtrade Yasui. Yasui's overstaying his welcome, and as a result, now it looks like the second dragon may be contested, but that first turret going down and a gold lead for Fang Gaming in the bot lane. Sheep does not have that ultimate available, just too eager to find an early advantage, and it's working against him right now. So Fang Gaming, more patient. It's paying off for them. I mean, as they grab yet another dragon.
Yeah, really fantastic start coming in here. So that structure melt buff going to be coming in for the side of Fang Gaming, really going to help them take down these remaining Tier 1 towers. So far do have that mid lane. That's Azir really flexing his muscles and showing how quickly he can burn through these towers. And this is yet again a buff that does so well with the comp of Fang Gaming, with that Jinx with her Gatling gun or the machine gun, and of course with Golden Glue with this Azir. They're able to burn through towers so quickly, already at base, let alone with that buff to boot. So it's just going to make things that much more easy for them this early on in the game. We can see 1,000 gold on the board in their favor, but those 2 dragons are not really being represented fully by that scoreboard. So they are in quite an advantageous position, but there's still such a potential here for Cloud9 Tempest, I feel, to get themselves back into this game.
Well, Cloud9 Tempest without a doubt has the stronger lineup in the mid game. Despite the early advantages gained by Fang Gaming, even now I feel like in a full 5v5 team fight, Cloud9 absolutely can win out and come out on top. However, once again, we have Fang Gaming with a late game scaling comp with an advantage in the early to mid game. And a little aggression there, but nothing going to come from that one. So for Cloud9, really, this is bad news. They need to find something soon. They have a lot of time, admittedly, before they're going to get outscaled, but with 2 dragon buffs boosting that scaling, as well as a pretty reasonable gold lead, about 1k at this point in the game. Once again, a lot of pressure for them to make a move here.
A lot of pressure indeed. Golden Glue having such a night and day performance on this Azir compared to the last game with a similar matchup. Yasui getting bullied out a little bit here. We can see that he does have Rod of Ages completed, so that's going to offer him a bit more sustain in this lane. Morello Navicon on the other side has been completed as well, but Golden Glue down a little bit. Now Lod getting flayed. A backward heart is here. The Death Sentence not going to connect. Neither is the Dredge line. Zap will go over onto Hard, so actually they will now be aware of his presence. That should allow Latman and Baby to be quite safe here. Cloud9 Tempest going to have to peel back a little bit, but they do spot 14A playing quite invasively. He realizes that all of those 3 members of Cloud9 were coming for him, so he will peel out. Not able to clear out that ward, but establishes some good forward vision here in the jungle all the same.
And 14A, honestly, has not done anything as far as ganks have been concerned, although we may see an engage here.
Yeah, you see going in. He's just throwing down some harassment here, trying to keep Golden Glue on his toes. Going right back in. That's going to be the Emperor's Divide, though. And they're trading back and forth quite evenly. Yasui forced a flash away, but Hard comes in. A nice flash out by Golden Glue will stop the damage from the explosive gas from connecting onto him and ultimately killing him. So good evasion by him. And good trade back and forth here between him and Yasui.
Mid lane is just so close right now. Both these characters have played this matchup, or both these guys have played this matchup twice already. They played it in solo queue without a doubt, and Golden Glue loves this Azir pick, is finally figuring out how to play it, and now you can see the difference as it's so even. He was getting bullied out consistently. Now he's trading evenly, and literally a single misstep from either one of these guys could turn against them in an instant. You saw Yasui honestly potentially overstaying his welcome as Golden Glue was able to get that knock-up, use that Emperor's Divide, and Hard and 14A there to back them up in an instant. So a lot of attention being paid to this mid lane, and it's paying off For Golden Glue,
Oh,
at
the
least Yusui
hook
could be in trouble.
from Baby. He has the Ignite going down, but Baby maybe overcommitting just a little bit. But here comes Golden Glue. That's going to be the first blood as he takes him down. And now 14A going in, trying to get the slow of the absolute zero. Not going to be able to find anything off the backside of that one. But first blood yet again coming in for Frank Fang Gaming this time. Going over to the Azir as they take down Yusui in his own jungle. What a play. Meanwhile, on the top side, Brent for the win in a bad spot as Hard joins the fray. Not going to be able to find anything. That explosive cask not yet off cooldown, so he will be quite safe. But what a good play by Frank Fang Gaming. Baby. Just, that was some confident play by the Thresh.
I don't know if it was over aggressive or just one of the most beautiful baits I've ever seen, but I'm going to give it to him. We see a little bit of trading here in the top lane, and just excellent play from them overall. You can see them now have 2 towers, a 3k gold advantage, and I mean, we've been here before, and now the pressure, we talked about the pressure. Pressure's there. It's been there. It's growing for Cloud9. They need to make a play, and you can see them kind of grasping at straws here as they just try to force something. Brandon for the win, the target of so many ganks, and they've yet to have one that's really made an impact. They've gotten a flash. They've tried to follow it up. Well, not fast enough. His flash is back up again. Didn't even have to burn that in the last gank, and Cloud9 seem to be slowly slipping, and they have to find something.
Yeah, they keep trying to, like you said, they keep trying to pay visits to Brandon in this top side of the map, where it worked out so well for him. In the last game, they were able to keep him down and stop him from excelling on that Gnar. This time around, it's not working out at all. He's just being so elusive and using his bounces so well to evade these ganks. And there's not really any attention being paid by Hard to this bot side of the map. Look at Latman, 156 CS to 128. He is getting so far ahead on this Jinx, 1100 gold in the lead on the board for him compared to the Sivir. That is where, you know, almost all of the attention of Cloud9 Tempest need to be paid, as well as this mid lane with Golden Glue getting the first blood. Sure, he's down very slightly in CS. It's less than 10 at this point, though. You know, with that first blood up, he's doing so well, and he's in such an advantageous position.
And really, from Cloud9, it feels like they're playing scared. Where is the on the hunt? Where are these Gragas ganks? Yusui is still playing incredibly aggressive.
And meanwhile, Baby, though, walking so far forward, the box does come down. Lod will eat that zap, but look at that chunk coming out from Latman as Golden Glue and 14A come out around the side. Absolute Zero being popped, and that's going to be the Emperor's Divide as well as Hard goes down. Latman finding that kill yet again now, trying to get onto the chase. He has the red buff. Lod playing so far forward. It's going to be a double kill. Yusui's on the back side, though. He gets caught up by that dredge line, but he finds the triple kill. Can he kite back fast enough? Yusui, he gets slowed out by that ice blast. He's going to go down. Latman, he walks out with his life, and that's going to be a huge pickup for Frank Fang Gaming as they take down 4 members of Cloud9 Tempest. Now the Dragon, the third of the game, going over to Frank Fang Gaming, who are playing a near perfect match.
14A is the player that Frank Fang Gaming picked up from solo queue. He was the guy that they said, maybe he's a little too aggressive. We're not sure. We want to figure out how to work him into the team. And this guy is carrying Frank Fang Gaming right now. A beautiful absolute zero. Synergized so well with the Emperor's Divide. Latman and Golden Glue each so far ahead of their respective lane opponents. And Frank Fang Gaming, never seen this level of play from them. They are bringing it back in Game 3, and Cloud9 is running out of options in what is quickly becoming one of the closest and most intense sets I have ever cast.
Yeah, this is an absolutely insane Game 3. I don't even care about the first 2 games at this point, because this match is just usurping all of them on the levels of just how good it is. That death onto Yusui. Oh my god, Baby! Coming up huge, locking him down, setting up the kill for Latman as he knocks it out of the park. The Jinx 4-0-1. This is just a repeat of Game 1. Frank Fang Gaming just sweeping straight through.
Nunu with this blood boil, Golden Glue, they're all doing so much damage. They're gonna break the inhibitor line before 20 minutes. Unprecedented. They may even be able to end the game. Hard
Hard's locked up. Absolute Zero coming through. That's going to be the Emperor's Divide thrown out just for funsies. Latman finding himself another kill. Golden Glue picking up this one. The inhibitor going down at the 19-minute mark. My god, Frank Fang Gaming, where did this come from?
8K at 19 minutes. Just a minute ago it was 5K. They ripped through 2 turrets and an inhibitor. This advantage is massive, and Frank Fang Gaming are poised to take control of this one. Yet another death sentence.
It's grabbed up, locked down by the choppers. He's gonna fall. Latman now 6-0 and 2. Yasui back in their sights. Just one more hit. Brennan for the win. Flashing forward. He finds it with a boomerang in the auto attack. They take him down. Lod hovering around the red buff. Has to back out. Oh my god. Frank Fang Gaming out for blood, and they are just getting it in throws. Just coming up so huge when it matters here in this last game of the best of 3.
And Frank Fang Gaming have Cloud9's number. Those games that they played yesterday must have revealed something, because it seems like Frank Fang Gaming have been one step ahead this entire match. Oh, you want to go in the bot lane? We'll be there in 2 seconds and we will turn this fight on you. You want to try to come in and get some vision control on this dragon? You want to try to get something back? We'll take another kill. We're happy to do so. And Frank Fang Gaming, they wanted to prove themselves as one of the strongest challenger teams. And by dominating Cloud9 like this, they have. We'll have to see if they can get more here, though.
Yeah, they go right onto Hard as they lock him down. The explosive cast comes out. The hook yet again over the wall. Locks him in. Latman finding the kill now. Lod in the sights of Frank Fang Gaming gets absolutely destroyed off the map. Golden Blue will find that one. This is just Cloud9 Tempest falling apart completely as Frank Fang Gaming starts up the Baron, and it's actually gonna be the surrender vote. 12-1. A huge gold lead for Frank Fang Gaming, and they take the series and they move on to the finals here in the AlphaDraft Challenger League.
Remember this day as the last day Baby ever gets to play Thresh. 0-1-8. Every one of those hooks resulting in a kill, getting the initiations necessary, predicting the hook on the Rift Walk. His name should be Baby Madlife, not Baby Eater. The guy